Programmers can fall into a trap where we develop a solution to a problem as opposed to solving the problem.
I built bots before they were cool.
When I was writing the first edition of this book, I had to come up with an indexer for my time writing for No Starch. And I know that when you write a book, you write the index at the same time you're writing the book. In other words, you develop them together. So the plan was to write a Python program that would take the index terms and a PDF copy of my book, and then develop a spreadsheet with the index terms and their page numbers. Simple, right? Well, I wrote that program and it worked fairly well, but it wasn't great. There were just a lot of things that could have been improved on it. So I thought, why not use AI to improve my Python program? And it was doing a fine job of refactoring the code and adding comments. But then I realized I still wasn't solving the problem. The real problem with indexing a book isn't a matter of locating where index terms are. It's in creating that index to begin with. It has a lot to do with how developers look at problems. Too often, problems become very task-oriented. So you might create a really elegant solution to a problem without actually solving the problem. So I could have created another solution without actually solving the problem, because the real problem is in how do you index the book. A person's vision can have a huge impact on the outcome of a project. For example, if your job is to stack bricks, you're going to get one outcome. If you're building walls, you'll get another. And if you're building a beautiful neighborhood, this is what you're going to get. A lot of people have talked about how start using AI. They tend to use it a lot like a search tool. They look up facts, they try to find spellings of things, that type of thing. The next phase of development is to look at it as an application. In other words, it becomes a tool that I can do one thing with or I can do another thing with. The final stage is using it as an operating system.
And as I was creating my index, I did it kind of ad hoc. Whatever I thought should be in the index, I would put in there.
In reality, there's some real methodologies in how indexes are created. And I used AI to find out what those methodologies are. You want to index famous people, famous places, famous events, things that are relative to the topic of the book. It turns out that AI can find all these things for you. So now I use AI not just to figure out what pages terms fall on, but I actually use it to index the book. That transition from using AI as an application to fix my code to replacing my code, I had to get my head around that a little bit. How many times am I using AI to fix code when actually the algorithm should really be within AI? That's your next step as a programmer. Your next step as a programmer is to identify those areas where AI can replace your code. Think about that.